Once upon a time, in a land far away, lived a young man named Daniel. Daniel had been taken captive by an enemy king and made to live in a city far from his own. Daniel and his friends were strong, healthy and intelligent, and so the enemy king wanted them to serve in his royal palace. Daniel and his friends loved God, and they knew that the food given to idols that the people in the royal palace ate would not please God, so they asked if they could have something else. The man in charge of them was worried that he'd get into trouble with the king if he thought that Daniel and his friends didn't look well fed. Daniel suggested that they have a trial for 10 days. Daniel and his friends would have just vegetables and water, and at the end of that time they would be compared to all the other young men on the training course, to see if they looked just as strong and healthy as they did at the beginning. So that's what happened. So for 10 days all they ate was vegetables. At the end of the 10 days they looked much healthier than any of the other men, and it was agreed that they didn't need to eat the food sacrificed to idols after all. Daniel and his friends had chosen to obey God, and God had looked after them. Many years later, a new king was on the throne, and he was so impressed with Daniel that he wanted to give him the most important job in the whole kingdom. This made all the rest of the king's servants very jealous and angry, and they plotted a way to get rid of him. These men knew that Daniel loved God and talked to him by praying every day. So they went to the king and asked him to make a law saying that no one was allowed to worship or pray to anyone else except the king. The king didn't realise he was being tricked, so he made the law, and whoever broke it would be thrown into the lion's den. Daniel knew about the new law, but nothing was going to stop him praying to God, so he carried on. The wicked men came to his house and found him praying, and they carried him off to see the king. The king was sad and angry that he'd been tricked, but he couldn't unmake the law, and so Daniel was thrown into the lion's den. The king was so upset that he'd thrown Daniel to the lions that he couldn't sleep all night. He paced in his bedroom back and two all night. Very early in the morning he got ready and went to the lion's den, really hoping that by some miracle Daniel would be all right. He called out, "Daniel, has your God saved you from the lions?" And Daniel called back, "Long live the king. God sent an angel to shut the mouths of the lions, and I've not been hurt at all." The king was overjoyed and ordered that Daniel be set free from the lion's den and that the wicked men be put in there instead.